Right, hi everyone, this is Louise from Butterfly Dolphin Crochet. Sorry if I sound a bit coldish. It's not, it's just my allergies playing up. So this is episode 7 of the beginner series. Like I said in probably a few of the previous ones, when I was making these squares, I was going to change up the colours, maybe combine a few colours, and I have. These are some of the combinations that I've come up with. On the first square that we did, it was easier to change the combination because we had 12 rows to play with. So we could, in theory, and I have 4 colours to choose from. So I've been able to do, like on this one, every colour 3 times. So it's kind of made a very nice colourful square. And on this one I've done it every 2 rows. So you can mix it up a little bit. There's another one with every 2 rows for that one. And here's one where I've done it every 3 rows. With the 4 colours. So you can mix it up, you can even do it with the 3 colours every 4 rows. Like this one. So you've got options, or you can just stick with the normal solid colours. Now, when it comes to the bigger one, because I have got 4 colours, I can't do, well, I thought I could actually. Do the first 4 rows of one of each colour, and then just decide to do the top 2 colours of it. My favourite colours and whatnot. So there's them options. And then on the square ones, I've got one here somewhere. There we go. So this is the square that we made a couple of weeks ago. And it's the same pattern. All I've done is change the colour everywhere. I started off with the purple one. As you can see, this is more of a tighter square than that one. Exactly the same pattern though. So what I did on this one, finished the first row and slip stitched it to the top like you would normally, and tied off. And in the corner space I attached the new yarn. Oh, it's attached exactly the same way as this one, but you just carry on with the process of going around again. Slip stitch cut off, and then I usually, when I'm changing colour for these ones, I change the colour in chain 2 spaces because you get more space, and you can easily hide your beginning tail a bit more easier. But the same method in when you're starting and finishing it will apply here. So when I've already got part of the square here, so I'll show you how to. So all I did was I finished the first row, the second row, no, third row even. So I picked these 3 colours, done the first 3 rows, and I'm going to hop back to the purple colour. So this is the way I've just worked. So what we would do is the normal slip stitch like we have been most of the time on your hook, like so. And then to join this yarn, all I'm going to do is go into the last chain of the row. I'm going to make sure that the tail from the previous row is going in the opposite, in the direction of where the, in that direction. So it goes back along the work. Sometimes it wants to move. And then what I want to do is slip stitch into that and pull the purple tail and try and persuade that to go in the same direction as the red one. And then you can either chain one, like I'm going to do, or chain 3 to follow and just follow the same pattern. So I'll chain 3 to follow the same pattern. So that's coming out of that stitch. So yarn over and then go into the next stitch and just carry on with your pattern. I'll put 1 treble into every stitch until you get to the end of the row. So you should have 12 stitches at the end of the row. And what I'm doing, as you can probably see, is I'm working over my tails, which then gives me less tails to cover up later, or hide later. So there we go, nearly at the end. And then we'll just finish off the row by doing it like we would normally finish off a project. Oh, 1 second. Sorry about that, I've left my sisters at the other side of the room. So then we'll just snip off and pull that through, and then we'll just repeat the process until you've got your, well in this case for me, 6 rows for this one. And that's all you do for changing colours. And then I tend to actually flip it over to where the tails are. I tend to pull them in a bit because then it will tighten up the stitches that tighten up the row at the end. And that's how I do that. And then I just snip off the tails like so, and then that's that done. So then I'll only have the starting and ending chains to deal with at the end. So that's how you change up your colours if you're doing it per row, or even if you're doing it every 2 or 3 rows. The colour combinations you can come out are all up to you. Now on the next tutorial, what I will be doing is, I haven't quite decided whether to do another, I have decided just then. I'm going to do one more square pattern, working in and around, so they get another square motif in your playbook, so to speak. So keep an eye out for that one. And then the tutorial after that, once you've got all your squares done, so in theory you should have, anywhere between 90 and 120 squares by then, and that's including the 15 to 20 squares of which I will be doing next time. And then, so the week after that, once we have got all of our squares together, we're going to go around the squares in a border, the pre-border, so we can able to straighten up the squares a little bit more, and we can be able to use it will allow us to attach the squares together a little bit more easier, depending on which way we actually end up deciding to do it. So the colour I'm going to do is, I'm using the same style of yarn, so Special Craft Special DK double knitted yarn, and I'm going to use the colour cream. So I'm going to use that as an edge around the squares. I haven't quite decided whether to do a double or a treble. I might end up doing a double just to straighten them up a bit. And then the week after that, once I show you how to do that, we're going to join them up. And then once we've joined them all up to how we all like them, the week after that we're going to put a pre-border on, and then we might even put the border on after that as well. So in the next 3 weeks, this beginner series blanket, or if you ended up making like one of my other suggestions, like a scarf, should be finished ish. Now once we have decided how many squares we're doing, if you don't feel like the blanket before we do when we sewed them together, before we put the pre-border on, and you feel that the blanket isn't big enough for what you want to do, or you had in your mind to do, that will be where you'll make up a few more squares. And then that will be up to you which squares you end up deciding, whether you do a few more of each one, because I'm not 100% sure whether. So far I've done 15 squares of each, so I've got about 90 squares, or will have about 90 squares, because I haven't done square number 2 yet. So once we've got them 90 squares, that's when, and I've bordered them all, that will be when I can decide whether I need the extra 5 per square. And then once I've got them on, I want to see how big it is then. But I'll talk in a bit more detail then. But for now, just thought I'll drop in and show you how to change a colour halfway through the square that we're doing. Hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.